Hi, welcome back. We are at episode 18.
Yes, episode 18, yeah. So just as a recap, a summary of what happened during the former episode, our audience may remember, but the old companion, Yeshua, died.
Right.
And so now Yeshua is all by himself in the middle of India, in Benares. And he's going to stay there for 6 months, learning about Hinduism and, also teaching some of the other sadhus.
So there'll be some exchanges.
There will be definitely an exchanges, yeah. So at the end of the 6 months, he's ready now to go to his final destination, Ie Nagar, who happens to be today the city of Puri. Okay.
Is that northern, middle?
No, it's actually completely east of India, and it's on the shore of the Pacific Ocean.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Still very far away from where he is today. So as he has his bag on his shoulder, he's ready to go, and suddenly he hears someone calling him, "Bhikshu, where are you going?"
Bhikshu.
That's the nickname they were giving him. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And
that's right.
Yeshua answers and says, "To Ie Nagar, my brother." And then the other person says, "Who will heal me once you're gone?"
Right.
And actually, the man who is calling Yeshua is a man who has leprosy. And his
process. You mean leprosy?
Leprosy.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Sorry, yeah.
Okay.
Leprosy, yeah.
Okay.
And his hands are full of wounds. Half of his nose is gone.
Oh.
And Yeshua realized that he's a young man. And he can see the despair in his eyes. So he decides to halt his departure to help that poor man. And he realized that the guy is so diseased and so advanced in his disease that nobody will ever take care of him.
Yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately.
It's sad.
So Yeshua tells that poor soul, come with me, and he seems to be very confident. He feels also a burst of compassion going through his body. And so he kneels in front of the man, and he starts caressing his hands. The hands which are, probably some of the...
sores and...
Yes, sores,
whatever,
and it could be that the tips of his fingers are gone,
Nobody's probably touched his hands in who knows how long,
And so the man is abandoning himself to the treatment. He's like, okay, finally someone is taking care of me, perhaps. And for the first time, Yeshua realized that his fingers are actually gliding on the skin of the guy, on the wounds. And he realized that there is some kind of yellow oil that is coming out of his fingers and his palms.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Wow. Wow.
Yes. And the man, seeing that also starts crying. I mean,
I can cry right now.
And so Yeshua is letting go, and he's focused on the hands of the poor soul, and he's just caressing his hands and everything. And he wanted to be just love, nothing else. When he's actually healing, he's almost he's out of his body. He is living another influence, another energy coming to his
something's
vehicle.
coming through him.
Right.
Yeah.
A Christic energy, perhaps.
Yeah.
Yeah. And coming through his body and doing the healing. Yeah. And then after taking care of the hands and covering them with this yellow oil, he's now touching the face of the soul of the poor guy. Yeah. And, going through his nose and everything, And then he stands up and leaves the man without a word. And Yeshua knows deep in his heart that the healing will take place, that the wounds will close, and that the nose will rejuvenate.
I was wondering if it would
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. The
grow
bone,
back,
the bone will grow back, and the flesh will grow back. Yeah. Wow. It will reconstitute itself.
Amazing.
Yeah. And why is that? Because it could not be otherwise.
Of course. course. That's the intention, right? It's all about intention.
It's all about intention. And when the intention is genuinely focused, it happens.
And so sure of it. Like,
absolutely, yeah.
And his heart of hearts.
So Yeshua walks fast because he doesn't want to talk, he doesn't want any comments about what just happened, And he walks fast, and he tried to ignore any witnesses or anything. His goal is to leave Benares and start walking to Ie Nagar, or the city of Puri. So, and
because
again,
he probably have lines of people following him.
Most likely,
hanging on his coattails now.
And he doesn't want to take credit for what he did because it's another force that is coming into his body and healing. Yeah.
Well, a lot of healers feel that way.
Yeah,
like it's not really, we're just the vessel, right?
Right. We are an intermediary, yeah. And so Yeshua is going to walk for weeks to Ie Nagar, trying to be by himself as much as possible. He doesn't try to look, to chat with other people or anything. I mean, for him, this trip is again a way of being with himself, meditating, praying like he normally does, and that's all. And he's now 16-year-old. So still very young.
Almost a man, though.
Almost a man, but still very young.
Yeah.
And again, we will be posting his itinerary on a map, and people can appreciate, what he's doing, all by walking. And during his trip, he realized that one after the other, all the people that counted for him are basically gone. And the passing of Yosheram recently was the last link he had to
his other world,
to his other world, and to his culture,
right,
and to his village, and to whatever, his family, And he's wondering, what is important anymore. And again, he doesn't feel the lack. Again, we discussed that in the previous episodes. He's not attached so much to his family or to his friend. He knows he's coming for a vast amount of people, and not only.
Right. Oof. That's a lot, though.
Yeah.
It's very expensive for a young child.
And finally, after many, many weeks of walking, he arrives in Ie Nagar. And again, we're going to use the term, the name of the city as it used to be 2,000 years ago. And you can see the temples, very high temples, and the ocean. And so the destination that he heard in a dream while he was still in Meru Vardhana on the shores of Lake Dal. He just had a dream, and he heard the name of Ie Nagar. You have to go to Ie Nagar. That's all it was for him to start this.
To start that journey.
Incredible journey, yeah. So the city of Ie Nagar is a giant sanctuary dedicated to Jagannatha, who is another name for Krishna.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Krishna being the blue man, I mean, people know, most Westerners know him as the blue being.
Right.
Right. An avatar of Vishnu. And so, again, Yeshua doesn't know where to go. He doesn't know anybody. So he decides to go to the tallest temple, not knowing, what he's going to do in this town. So, and he sees some representation painted of Jagannatha, and it reminds him of the presence of Elohim. Somehow, the painting brings back to his memory or an impression that it has some extraterrestrial influences.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And so finally, in the major temple, he finds a small courtyard, which is dedicated for pilgrims. And he decides to stay there, and some food is offered to him twice a day.
Oh.
So he's going to stay there for about 10 days, learning about the city, the people, and the beauty of the shores. I mean, of course, he enjoys the beach. He goes to see the ocean, see all the fishermen. I mean, all this activity. He's absolutely mesmerized by the ocean and the constant waves crashing on the sand. I mean, that's something he has never seen or rarely seen before. So he really enjoys watching that. And he also noticed that the fishermen use those long boats, very narrow, and they have some kind of balancing hull to stabilize and stuff.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we've seen that.
Yeah. So again, while watching the waves crash, a feeling of doubt comes into his heart. And he's wondering, if he could be wrong. It's haunting him.
Oh, no.
I mean, having done all these distances and, he's really wondering what role he's supposed to be doing.
Well, he's totally surrendered.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes doesn't show up till a little later, but I'm sure he'll get it.
And so it is dusk, and he's still on the beach, and he's resting against the boat, and a voice is coming and speaking to him. And Yeshua sees like a middle-aged man with white hair and white beard
Coming like in his mind's eye, or walking up to him?
Walking to him.
Oh, okay,
talking to him.
Okay.
And the man asks him, you are not recognizing me? And interestingly, the man speaks with the language of Meru Vardhana.
Okay.
Because, again, each Indian province has a different language, a different dialect, right? But this one happens to, that wise man happens to know also
thank
the
goodness,
language of Meru Vardhana. And I think we will understand later why he knows the language of Meru Vardhana. And the man tells him, in Kashi also, which was Benares, remember, I was watching you while you were healing people. So that old man has been watching Yeshua for a long time, apparently.
I guess it's an avatar that comes in and out. It can travel.
So then the old man tells Yeshua, I do not know your name, but mine is Lamaas. So he's a priest in the Grand Temple.
Oh.
Okay. And so Lamaas is going to play a pivotal role in the life of Yeshua. He's going to stay many, many years with Lamaas, learning a lot of things. But we will be going into more details about that.
Okay.
And so a dialogue starts between the two men. And Lamaas is telling Yeshua that he saw him heal a man from leprosy recently in Benares.
He's looking over your shoulder, watching.
And he knows that Yeshua is different. And he also tells Yeshua that, I've seen your face in dreams, in my dreams, 3 years ago. Oh. So
been waiting a long time.
He has been waiting for a long time,
Well, it took a while for him to get there.
Right.
It's a long way.
And so Lamaas starts talking to Yeshua about, the Vedas and some of their religion and spiritual beliefs. And it explained to Yeshua that Jagannatha, who is another entity for Vishnu, is often accompanied by chariots in the sky. And those chariots are called the Mahavimanas. And people who are, people in our audience who are familiar with the Hindu Vedas and spiritual approach may have heard about the Vimanas. And in the Mahabharata, which is one of the books on the Vedas, they are mentioning 4 types of Vimanas. The first type is called the Rukmas, and those are circular in shape. And they're all flying objects. The second one is called the Sundaras, and they are conical in shape.
And they're flying.
And they're all flying.
Okay.
The third one is called Shakunas, and they are equipped with wings. And the last one is called Tripura, and it is shaped like a cigar.
Okay. So I think we might be treading on some ET kind of.
Definitely,
Yeah.
So this is all described in the very ancient text of the Vedas, which are like 3,000 or 4,000 years ago. And I don't think we can talk about any technology at this point, not human technology, obviously.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yes.
So all this information, of course, reminds Yeshua of Elohim, his extraterrestrial presence that is watching him. Mm-hmm. And he feels something on the back of his neck, while Lamaas is talking about that. And Lamaas knows a lot of stuff. He knows that Yeshua is an avatar. Mm-hmm. And he also knows that the Elohim worked on the back of his neck a long time ago.
Oh, okay.
And our audience who have been following the episodes in the right order knows that, I think it was episode 5, when young Yeshua at 5, 6 years old, when under the Mount Tabor,
right,
he had the first encounter, actually the second encounter with Elohim, and they performed some etheric surgery on the back of his neck, right at the base of the back.
The mouth of God area?
Right, yeah, mm-hmm.
Okay.
Exactly. And Lamaas happens to know that. Or maybe has seen it in his dream, but he's very knowledgeable about. So Yeshua is very shaken. I mean, how could you meet someone so far away who knows so many intimate things about yourself,
Right.
So he takes a few steps away and decides to walk away from this man because he cannot just accept that man knows so much about him.
Yeah.
And while walking away, he has a vision. He sees a wall of very tall mountains covered with snow. And he realized that he has to climb those mountains. There is no work around it, and avoiding them is not an option.
Wow.
Okay.
That's
so
huge.
We can relate to the fact that those mountains are probably the Himalayas,
The Himalayas,
right?
yeah.
At this point, yeah. So he goes back to Lamaas, and finally he accepts to be a student. Because Lamaas is offering him, to take him as a disciple.
Oh,
and
okay.
to teach him. And so Yeshua is going to spend many years with Lamaas, and Lamaas is actually the grand Brahmin of Jagannatha in the great temples of Ie Nagar. So he's someone who is
He's pretty
very
high up.
level. Yes.
Like a pope almost.
Yeah. And so Lamaas invites Yeshua to move into his place, and they actually shared a big room, a large room, and, with basically 2 corners, whatever. And Yeshua regrets a little bit the independence that he had with Yoshira. The fact that they didn't have much of an independence because they were living in a shack,
Right.
But I guess after the death of
Yoshira. It was his shack, though, right?
Yeah, after the death of Yoshira, it became his shack.
Right.
And he was all by himself, yeah. Mm-hmm. But he sees that as necessary for his training, so... And the other gift that Lamaas is doing is that he's giving him a yellow robe. You can see that Yeshua, is wearing a...
Probably tattered
tattered
right now.
All worn out,
Yeah.
probably torn apart. I mean. So he's giving him a brand new yellow robe. And he explains also why the robes are yellow. So apparently, long time ago, and that is like maybe 3,000 or even 4,000 years ago, those robes were all white. But they were doing some kind of ritual and celebration using the curcumin powder.
Right, okay.
As a way to heal the body and also to heal the mind.
Like today.
Right. And so their white robes were always stained with that yellow stuff.
So they just went ahead and dyed it
so
all. Okay.
One day, one of the
That's smart.
Brahman, came with the idea, okay, we need to do something about that because it's impossible to keep them clean.
Right.
So they decide to, as you said, to dye them, to stain them, and make
That would be
them
much
yellow.
easier, right? Yeah.
Yes. So that's the
funny.
origin of the yellow
Yellow
robes.
robes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And so while listening to those explanations, Yeshua starts cleaning the room with a broom. And he asks Lamaas, he goes to Lamaas and he said, I wonder if there may not be another reason for the robes to be yellow. And he tells Lamaas, I think that when you grow spiritually, your aura becomes more yellow.
Oh.
And so the fact that you will be wearing a yellow robe may in fact, represent or mirror your advanced aura. And so
interesting, yeah.
Lamaas is actually shocked by this comment. And he comes close to Yeshua and he tells him, okay, I see the student will be very demanding to the teacher. This is very good.
You already know too much.
Exactly. You already know too much. What Lamaas may not know is that Yeshua actually has the capability to see the auras.
Okay.
For him, it's kind of easy. So a period of intense studying is going to start with Yeshua. So he's going to learn how to read and pronounce the Sanskrit.
Oh.
Yeah. Which is still not very easy today.
No.
I don't think many people in India are capable of reading and understanding the Sanskrit or even writing it. And most of the time it is scholars, teachers of a certain level who are capable of doing that. And somehow Yeshua finds it very easy to do it.
Of course.
Probably knew it from a past
life.
Yeah. He also studies the 4 Vedas, books which are extremely ancient, probably 3...
Can you explain a little bit more about Vedas?
Yeah, the Vedas is the foundation of the Hinduism. And the origin of the Vedas is that there are 4 books, and they were written by a group of rishis, which are mystics, who are mystics, okay? And the way they did it was very interesting. And I think I would like to open that explanation to the audience and have them think about how those books were written. So those rishis were going into meditations and also observing the world and the cosmos. So they would basically listen to the cosmos, to what we call the sound of the spheres, for lifetimes. I mean, not only their own life, but, probably multiple lifetimes. They would listen to the sound of the stars and the solar systems and everything. And they would listen to the silence of the universe. And from there, they would be able to map the course of the planets, the cycle of the cosmos, and the seasons of the universe.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Wow.
And they would deduce the law of the wisdom of the universe and, put those laws into writing and realize that those laws are influencing everything in the creation.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Maybe I need to read that.
Yes, I was actually thinking about maybe I should get the Vedas too.
Yeah.
Not the Sanskrit version, but the translated version.
I love looking at the Sanskrit.
Yes.
It's so beautiful.
So this is how the Vedas were created. So those rishis, probably a large group of them, over many lifetimes, just being in prayers, meditation, and looking into the cosmos, probably looking at the sky during the night. And that would explain why they saw all these vimanas, right? Flying vessels, right? And they could categorize them in 4 categories, right?
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
And they weren't afraid of them.
No. I mean, why would they be?
Yeah.
And so the Vedas are rich in poems and rituals celebrating the unity of everything. So in the Vedas, and according to those rishis, there is no separation, no beginning, no end. It's just a succession of cycles, birthing other minor cycles, endlessly. And so this is something that is totally unknown from the Christian world, and the Christian religion and even the Hebraic religions. But in the Hinduism, they talk about big cycles and smaller cycles, Some great cycles are about 26,000 years long. The smaller cycles are about 21.
Which is the Kali Yuga, right? The 26,000?
Well, the Kali Yuga is only one type of...
Yeah. Which is, but I thought it was...
They are called yugas.
Okay.
Yugas, yeah.
All right.
Yeah, and then we have the smaller cycles, which are 2,160 years long. And
that's almost the bronze.
There are different.
all
they,
different.
They
okay.
use different metals to qualify
to signify the difference.
So right now we happen to be at the end of a minor cycle, but also at the end of a big cycle.
Right.
A major cycles.
Right.
And so that's why we have a major spiritual presence every 2,000 years, because it matches those small cycles of 2,160 years.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, if you think about
and
it.
I think we're right at the bottom of that and starting the new one, which is the golden age, right?
We are starting the age of Aquarius,
right?
Yeah, which is again a new cycles of 2,000, 2,100 years.
Right.
Yeah.
But that's why everything seems so rough right now.
Right.
Just so, I want to say jagged. I don't know why that comes to my mind, but that's what it feels like right now, right?
Yeah, and again, those riches, studying the universe and the cosmos, have also identified much bigger cycles, which are about 2 million years, and that's the time it takes for the solar system to do a rotation inside our Milky Way galaxy.
Oh, okay.
So there are all kind of stuff. Yeah, everything is in motion. There is no beginning. I'm sorry to say that. There is no Big Bang. There is no end. It's just a bunch of cycles.
Well, everybody has their own way of what they want to think or believe. We're not here to change anybody's mind. Just here to offer some information.
Yeah. So with all this teaching and training, Yeshua is very happy. He's actually learning under his banyan tree. He has his favorite banyan tree, a little bit like the Buddha, right?
Yeah.
And he has all his rolls of Sanskrit and the knowledge of the Vedas. I mean, he's like
a king right now.
He's a king.
He's loving life.
He is loving life, yeah.
Good for
him.
He
can finally put a name on the, on the listening of this sacred energy of the universe, and what they call in India Shruti. Yeah, Shruti. That's this universal energy and universal sound which is coming. And so our teacher Lamaas is very impressed by the progress of Yeshua. Basically, in less than a year, Yeshua has been able to assimilate and master, what other students would take 10 years or maybe an entire lifetime.
Yeah.
So at this point, our Yeshua is now 18 years old. Okay. And one day he goes to the market with Lamaas, they go to shop, buy herbs, food, whatever. And Lamaas asks Yeshua a personal question. And he asks him, are you going to stay alone? Will you stay alone?
Don't you need a wife?
So Yeshua is kind of surprised by that question, and he tells Lamaas, but I wear the robe, and Lamaas tells him, okay, Swami, you're, a lot of people realize that you're not like the other people, okay? As a Brahmin also, because he has the yellow robe, he's now a Brahmin, you can have a spouse.
Oh.
So it's allowed. You can do that. And so Yeshua is looking at all the young Indian girls, and they are smiling and giggling, because obviously he's very different from the other ones.
Right.
I mean, as we mentioned, he's quite tall, long hair, short beard, and his skin is white. So
lighter, maybe not white, but lighter.
Lighter, yeah. And so he probably has a lot of success among the locals. And so Yeshua explained to Lamaas, I have never thought about it. I've never thought about taking a wife and founding a family, I have, all my life, I've only studied, traveled, and prayed.
Yeah.
I really had no time to think about anything else. And he tells Lamaas,
he's dedicated, I tell you.
And he tells Lamaas, if a family helps me on the path, then maybe I will do that. But for the time being, I don't need anything.
Wow. Okay. He hasn't found the right woman yet.
He hasn't found the right woman yet. Oh, it's not ready yet.
Right.
So, you know how things are put in motion in the universe, but a few days later, on the market, he meets a young woman called Aruni.
Oh.
And so Yeshua finds her very attractive. However, Aruni, she's wearing a green sari, is very shy at the beginning. But although her eyes are looking with a lot of intensity to Yeshua, she doesn't dare speaking to him. So it is the Aruni's smaller sister who actually talked to Yeshua. And for the people who are wondering, Aruni is means pink like dawn. It's a color of dawn.
Oh, okay.
When the sun is just coming out. And so the little sister tells Yeshua, Swami, if you have a little bit of powder to heal my mother, then you can take all the spices you want. Because Aruni is actually holding a little stand of spices. She's selling spices on the market,
A little bartering.
Yeah. And so Yeshua responds to Aruni and tells her, I have no powder, my sister, but I may not need it. Where do your mother live? And so they agreed, and Yeshua is given the address of Aruni's home, and they meet later on in the evening. And so Yeshua arrives in the big house of Aruni, and of course the father of Aruni is introduced, and is gloating about the fact that he owns multiple boats, that he has people working for him, that he's a big fisherman, and that he has done so many offerings in so many temples to try to cure his spouse.
Oh.
But nothing has worked.
Oh.
So Yeshua is observing that man, and he realized that the father does not trust him. Okay. And the father tells him, you can try, but you must not touch my wife.
Yeah. Okay.
So Aruni's mother is actually on some kind of courtyard inside the house, and she's laying on a little bed, and Yeshua kneels behind her because she doesn't see him. She's on the other side, and he touches her shoulder to try to grab her attention. And of course, the husband is furious about that. He said, I told you not to touch my wife. And so Yeshua, turns around and look to the father of Aruni with a very intense gaze and tells him, tell me, fisherman, do you want her to heal or not? Leave me alone. I do not need anything.
Oh my gosh.
Just leave me alone. And the husband is actually backing off. I think he's very surprised by this burst of...
I'm sure a little bit more than just the look came out.
Yes.
Some kind of energy probably.
And so the healing process starts. And Yeshua again, let the energy rush through your body and let it happen. And he places his hands on apparently the mother has some problem with her stomach. Okay, she's coughing blood, and she cannot eat, and her belly is extremely sore and painful. So he puts her hand on her belly, on the naked skin, despite what the husband was saying. And while doing that, again, the same yellow oil starts oozing out of his fingers. And actually the mother, feeling that, grabs Yeshua's hands and rubs it on her belly. Oh. So he let her,
he
let her
move his hands. Oh, okay.
Yeah. On her belly, I mean, she's basically guiding his hands, where he should be.
It's like she knew finally somebody's here.
Right.
Who knows what they're doing?
And suddenly, while doing that, he feels something solid coming into the palm of his hands.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. And so...
Did he do like psychic surgery on her?
No. Hold on.
Okay.
So...
Sorry.
he opens his hands, and there are some crystals of salt in his hands. And then he requests immediately a glass of water because she has to ingest those salts.
So what she needed just appeared on his hand, which, oh my gosh.
So the medicine that she needs to be healed
Oh, that's so amazing.
appears in the palms of his hand.
Wow.
Okay?
Wow.
So again, the father is, but Aruni brings some water, and the mother swallows the crystals with the water, and she feels so much better immediately, to the point that she gets up.
Oh.
She gets up and she's even hungry. When she has not been eating for days.
Right. Oh my gosh,
so
that's amazing.
Aruni cries, the young woman cries. The husband kneels, he wants to revere Yeshua, he wants to give him something, but Yeshua leaves the house without a word. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. There is no need to talk about that. Yeah.
Right.
But what happened is the following day, the whole town is talking about that.
They're knocking on the door.
The whole town is talking about this miraculous healing.
Oh my goodness.
And Lamaas, the teacher, is a little bit upset because he has not been told anything about it.
Oh.
So Yeshua, again, being very humble,
yes,
didn't tell the story to anybody and kept it for himself.
So he had to find out from someone else. Ooh, okay.
And he realized that Yeshua is an Avshtara. And an Avshtara also has a different meaning in ancient Hindu. It means also, it's a type of lotus flower that would come in the middle of nowhere, where it's not expected.
Oh.
And they call it an Avshtara.
Avshtara.
Yeah, it's like a spiritual presence that would come on the planet in a place where it's not expected. To change things, right?
Wow.
Yeah, and so all this makes Yeshua finally accept that Harun is inside him. And he and Lamaas have a conversation about that. And Lamaas tells him, you have to stop saying that it is somebody else doing all this work through you. No, you are the same thing.
Yeah, because there's no separation.
There is no separation.
Right.
And so finally, Yeshua is starting to accept that Harun is also living inside himself. Yeah. Like it is, like Harun, like the Creator is living inside each one of us.
Right. Right. But a lot of people don't want to believe that or feel that or understand
and
it.
A lot of people don't have the capabilities of Yeshua, of course. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, we all came
Most
for
of
different
us,
things.
Yeah. And so the life goes on, and we will be talking about what happens in the next episode, because I think this one is long enough like that. And we're going to talk more about Lamaas, what Yeshua is learning, and also what will happen with Aruni. And because Aruni now is making sure that she sees...
It's a little cliffhanger you're leaving us with now.
She's also making sure that she sees Yeshua every time he goes to the market or every time he's out.
Yeah.
Yeshua noticed that she's always in
she's
his
got
periphery.
An eye on him.
Yeah. So that would be his first Indian girlfriend, I guess.
Oh, are you giving us a little information?
No. She won't even be a girlfriend.
Oh, well.
But first female presence.
Oh, okay. All right. Open up a little bit. I'm like,
yes.
Maybe I do.
He's
have
opening
time
up a little
for
bit
this.
to the other sex. Yeah.
It's interesting, don't you think, how he has to go to India and all these different places to learn all different languages and
spiritual religions and everything. Yes.
It's really interesting.
Yeah, when you think about it, yeah. I mean, because of his birth, he was placed in Judea, right? Among the Hebraic religion. But then he's moving through all the Persian religions, right?
Right.
And then he's learning some of the Hinduism and Buddhism in Kashmir. And now he's in India, in the full middle of the Hinduism religions. Yeah.
I think it's so important for everybody to do that.
Yes,
right? Don't you think?
absolutely.
It just kind of opens up so much more of the world and
you should not limit yourself to one religion.
It's such a tunnel vision when it's just one even the Sanskrit, even that is, to expand out.
I would definitely invite our audience, to look at the Quran, to look at the Tao, the Chinese,
the Tao.
The Tao, yeah.
The Tao.
Written by Confucius, and look into the Hinduism, look into the Vedas, look into the Buddhism, which is absolutely fantastic too.
Right. Yeah. I think they're all different steps.
Yes, yes. And a lot of these religions are so much older than the Christian religion,
Right, right.
And they offer many more perspectives.
There's a lot of depth.
Yes, there is a lot of depth, and they are more spiritual, I would say, than religious in nature.
Right. Yeah, it's funny, religious and spiritual, how different it really is. I mean, in the religious realm, you can't say you're spiritual.
No.
You have to be religious.
Yes.
And not spiritual.
Religious, again, comes from the Latin religare, which means to bind again.
Oh.
So we take it as we want, but
right.
It is a way to bind you again.
I didn't know that's what it meant, but now it makes sense.
That's the root of the word. Yeah.
Well, everybody's here to learn different things and to experience different things. So
absolutely.
Well, we thank you so much for joining us today, and we look forward to finding out what happens with Yeshua and his girlfriend. Maybe. Thank you.
Goodbye.
Bye.